Y'all ready for the show tonight? Yeah, I'm ready. All right. I want you to meet all my friends. Let's meet them. We're best fucking friends. We're not spooning or knifing. We're forking, not fighting. We're not spooning or knifing. We're forking, not fighting. Yeah.
Welcome to the Best Forking Friends podcast. With us tonight, our friends are Etch,
Hello.
Branson.
Why is that funny? Why is my name funny?
No, I'm just laughing at Etch, I guess.
Oh, so I'm not funny and he is?
Stop it.
Exactly.
And Kyle.
Hello, I'm not funny either.
And I'm your unfunny host, Jesi.
The funniest.
So
That's the name of this podcast. The funniest.
I feel like we're all in a good mood. So, but I'll ask anyway. How's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling? We're good.
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
I plead the fifth.
You plead the fifth. All
I'm
right.
doing great.
All right. I'm also
It's the
unfunny
weekend.
and doing fine. Yeah.
The weekend. How can you not do great
I
unless
know.
you've got extenuating circumstances?
TGIF, right?
Hey, before we start, I just want to say something real quick. I want to dedicate this one to our good dear friend Don, my buddy's grandpa. No, man. As much as I can't speak for you, but he did a lot for me too, and it hurt.
Yeah, that's
To
why
hear about his passing,
that's
but,
why I pled the fifth.
Yeah, we're gonna dedicate this one to him,
Yep.
and we love
Now
him.
I got to watch what I say, man.
Not necessarily
It's all
that.
good.
No,
It's all
it's
good.
not that.
All right.
But we love him, and
Yeah,
and
my grandpa from episode, believe it was episode 8.
Mm-hmm.
You smell that? That was
That's
my
my
grandpa. Yeah, he
Yeah.
passed away. So
Yeah.
that's
Well,
why I pled the fifth on how I feel.
raise one for Don.
Yeah,
yeah, we're gonna raise one for Don real
All
quick.
right.
He would love that.
Cheers.
Yeah, he would. Exactly.
All right. So let's kick it off, right? So this one is far, far away. Okay.
Okay.
So questions are centered around futuristic technology. What do we think the future is going to look like? So first question, how do you imagine life on Earth 100 years from now? Does anyone want to go first?
Well, I imagine it me being in a wheelchair because I will still be around. So,
But why would we be in a wheelchair?
Because he's Professor X now, apparently.
I'll be over 100 years old. I'm not going to be able to walk that well, but I will be here.
So medical technology won't have advanced far enough for you to not be in
I
a
just don't
wheelchair.
think I'll care by then. I'll be retired.
So an exosuit is not in the equation in Jason's mind.
There's no need to. If you're retired, right? I've already worked 85 years, right?
Yeah, you're saying screw walking, man.
Yeah,
I'm
why-
in a wheel.
why-
You're
walk.
retired. Why ever stand up again, right?
Never again.
Okay.
Never again. If I hit 100, which I plan on doing, I'm never walking again.
Okay.
Never again.
There's a goal for you, for sure.
I don't think so. She's asked this question about 100 years from now, where will life be? And you put yourself in the equation.
Yeah, because of technology, not because I
'cause
feel
of
like I
technology.
can. Yeah, not because I feel like I can live to be 200 years old.
But I don't think you're answering exactly. You're just like, I'm still here, motherfucker.
Yeah. 'cause
Well, then-
it's
then
so
how about you answer?
what's it gonna be like? Is
yeah.
what she's
What do you
saying.
think
Okay,
Earth
yeah.
is going to be like?
Man, I think it's truly going to be crazy. I think there's when we're growing up, you see people our movies or whatever with flying vehicles and shit like that.
Yeah,
I definitely feel like that's how it's going to be.
flying vehicles.
Yeah.
What's
that movie
You're probably not far off.
with Bruce Willis and he's a taxi cab driver?
Fifth Element.
Fifth Element.
Fifth Element.
You think
That's
it's gonna
what
be like the Fifth Element?
100 years
What
from now,
about
Fifth Element
Do you remember Demolition Man?
combation.
Yeah.
But I feel like
so
it's
you're
going to
gonna
be something like that.
So
Do you
you're
remember
gonna
back-
be you're
do you
gonna be
remember-
in a wheelchair getting your eyes swapped.
Yeah.
I mean your ass wiped with seashells.
No, those.
No, you
still be
said
paper.
combination of fucking Demolition Man.
Yeah.
So
Do you remember Back to the Future Part 2?
Yes, I do.
Weren't there flying cars there?
Well, yeah.
Didn't that take place like a couple years ago?
Yeah, but I feel
but
like
some of them
Demolition
kind of
Man
some of them
sounds better.
Some of that kind of exists, like the
Not flying cars.
no, but the thing where your air pumps, like the pump shoes, they automatically fill. You don't have to pump it anymore.
Well, that's been
like,
I think that's been here since like the 90s, man. The old Nike pumps.
No, those were you had to pump them up yourself.
Those
yeah,
were
that's
manual.
what- yeah.
pumps.
Yeah.
Those were
Oh.
manual.
yeah,
pumps.
but
Okay, I'm
that
sorry.
that did happen where the automatic pump did happen, and a lot of things,
they sell those.
whether it be like books or movies, like sci-fi shit ends up becoming things in real life because scientists are inspired by it and then try to recreate
Yeah,
it.
they'll
So-
develop it. Yeah.
So I could see some things happening.
It's Star Trek. Those are the ones that like we've got pads that we iPads and
Yeah.
tablets that we use. That's all they're doing on Star Trek with their little
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
So it kind of already has happened in our lifetime, like more than other people's lifetimes. Like things have, well, I guess it's just our experience. But these people see the things in like sci-fi movies and then they work on them. So I could definitely see things happening, like the whole cyborg thing, like he was talking about in Star Trek. I could definitely see that happening, like us being more integrated with technology, like obviously with the Starlink stuff,
Yeah.
the Neuralink. No,
Yeah.
I said Starlink, Neuralink.
it could be Wi-Fi.
Maybe I should just think
satellite
about what I'm
connected.
saying.
It could be satellite internet connected. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
I don't want to be satellite internet connected. I like being to the ground,
Yeah. More grounded.
grounded.
Yeah. You guys
I should have
all-
grounded myself from being on this podcast, to be honest.
No,
Yeah.
we're
here.
glad you're here. No, I think there'll be things we're seeing right now. There's a lot of investment in private space travel, so I think we'll see a lot of advancement in that kind of thing with your Elon Musks and other halfway insane people making some really risky investments. And the event, some of them will pay off, right? So I think we'll see more about that. I think on the bad side, we might see like warfare using space weapons.
like destruction.
They're already launching satellites to shoot each other's satellites, So I think there could be some of that. I think it's going to go kind of two ways, and this is how I think it always goes. There's going to be a lot of great technology, and that's going to do a lot of great things, and our lives are going to be as different 100 years from now as it was 100 years before now. And also, with all those good tools, any tool can be used for evil. And I think that they will, we might have environmental issues. We might have just other problems that are going to get worse. The problems that we have now, some of them are going to get worse. But hopefully, some technology and updates will fix some of those. But so I think we're going to get better and worse in
Yeah.
both directions.
So let me
Well,
ask you this.
I was going to ask something too.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry
No,
for interrupting
it's
you,
okay.
but do you think so the whole timeline of human beings, do you feel like technology and the advances in human beings is coming quicker than it ever has before?
Yes.
Like it's becoming like light speed to
For sure.
to me at least.
Compared to how it was
compared
in
to
the
how
past.
it was in the past.
Absolutely.
And it's like kind of mind blowing.
That was
But
kind
at the same time, I'm feeling like the normal human being is becoming more complacent, stupid. Like
The average human being.
yeah,
is that
the
what you
average
mean?
the average human being.
because we're getting used to being around technology.
Well, I don't know how to program a damn thing, so it's just like there's definitely going to be a different thing going on.
Well, that kind of relates to the question I was going to ask. Technology, as you said, we've noticed it take leaps and bounds, and it seems like a much quicker route than the past. And so when I thinking about 100 years and what you said about like the space travel and stuff like that, thinking how advanced that seems to us now with space travel, what that would look like would people be living in space? in 100 years? You know, if you think about how quickly things have advanced at this point, and we're already talking about space travel in 100 years, I mean, that could really mean people living in space.
If you
Well,
think
we've-
about it,
we've
we already
already had-
have people living in
Yes.
space at
Well,
the International
astronauts,
Space Station.
right.
We've been having people living
right,
in
but
space.
I think of, you know, like the
like
movies.
on the moon or something.
but
like
there
that.
is a lot of radiation
Well,
in
like
space.
space stations of communities,
Yeah.
you know, is what I'm thinking of. Like astronauts, you know, they're living in this confined, you know, living area within this space stations, but like full community space stations is kind of where my head was going with.
Yeah,
that much
like a
advancement.
colony.
Yeah, exactly.
colony.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So like
When-
Elysium, have you ever seen that movie where they have the fucking rotating? Have you ever seen Elysium?
Yeah,
Where they have like the gravity because
they create the gravity through the centrifugal force.
Yes.
Yeah,
So I think that's like probably 1,000 years off.
yeah. I
if-
don't
if-
think.
if
I think
that
it's
could
more
ever
than
happen.
100. I think it's more than 100, but I don't know
Yeah.
that I think it's 1,000.
Really.
But I think it's more than 100.
Yeah.
I do think those things are possible because, like I said, like in all like sci-fi books, even like before there was TV or radio, there was books, and somehow people took an idea that somebody had through a creativity,
Something
like
imagined.
imagined, and made it happen, like made it become real.
Well, we do
the
that all
fact
the
that
time.
just the fact that we can do this right now and it's recorded onto something that's, you know,
a digital format. Yeah.
well, digital, but it's still like how, like it's almost like fucking witchcraft. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's
if you
what
think
people
about it,
It would
100
be-
years ago would
yeah.
have thought
like
of
they
it.
definitely would have thought it was witchcraft.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you can hear like, but like it still blows my mind. Like in the era I'm in, you know, that this is even possible, and it's just mind blowing. So I can't imagine where we'll be in 100 years. I imagine it's way crazier. It has to be 4 or 5 times crazier than it is right now, to
Yeah.
be honest.
Well, I
And
was
think
always
there's gonna
told.
be sorry.
Yeah, I was always told that the military is always 50 years advanced and more than we can think is
Yeah.
possible. So, if you just put that in perspective, and you put that in 100 years,
Yeah.
so they're 50 years above what we can think, and then we put that, you know what I'm saying? So, things could get real crazy.
And also, the book 1984. Remember that?
Sure.
Have you ever read that, Jesse?
I haven't. No.
No, but
It's
do you
not-
know what
it's
it
not
is?
a
I've
happy
heard
book.
of it, yeah.
It's not a
But
happy book.
no, it's not a happy book, but the whole Big Brother like aspect of that, like where there's cameras everywhere, that exists now. Like,
yeah.
it used,
does.
like
CCTV.
when I was a kid and I read that book, that did not exist. Now that is very possible. It's not going on right now, as far as I know.
In our country, but in like China, they're totally open about it.
Yeah.
oh,
There's
yeah,
cameras
for sure.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's totally possible, and with the powers of AI, they can recognize people's faces. So there is like a Big Brother aspect, like, and you would have never thought like it was just a sci-fi book that long ago, you know?
That's
Well, and-
evolved into almost like a Revelations.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. Like,
And
things we create through art become reality.
It's in our country too. When I got off the cruise ship, when I went on a cruise last, I just walked in through customs, and they just had a
Yep.
screen, and it saw my face and said,
Yep.
"Oh, I know who you are."
No
and I
shit.
walked right through.
Yep,
And
same.
if they're doing that for openly on a passport, through customs,
Really?
Yep.
then they're probably able to do that with every single camera that's
Well,
around.
It was the same
I
thing
barely
for
leave
us,
Bond
too.
County,
Yep.
so
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely out there.
so that's crazy to think about that not long ago that was a book and now it's reality. So
Yeah.
I can't imagine where we'll be in 100 years. It could be fascinating, it could be scary, but I definitely think it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
You know what's even crazier than that is like if you go on like certain apps or websites, you can look at cameras in other countries and see what those cameras are looking at. So like it's like open access to everybody.
No, I've seen shit like that, like the apps you're talking
yeah, my
about. where
my
you- where
uncle
you
will
can-
sit there for hours and look at cameras in just random places. Like,
you can
what
get
the
a,
hell are you looking
can get
for?
you can get a street cam like in
Yeah.
China or
yeah.
India or whatever, and just see people rolling through traffic.
That's
But
crazy.
it's
Yeah.
interesting to watch it. But
Well, it's interesting, but at the same time, it should show you like if
I
they're
really don't care.
allowing you to see that, what are they looking at?
Well, and it's not even just the cameras, but people doing like live streaming on their
Yes,
phones.
exactly.
I've seen,
Posting your
you know,
yeah.
riots and protests and whatever through people just live streaming
Everybody's
on their phone.
videotaping everything
You
these
know?
days.
So
Yeah.
That was the whole purpose of that being developed is the Facebook and all that is like they knew you were gonna go and I'm gonna put my feelings online and I'm
Because
gonna
you want to
put
be
video.
validated.
Yeah.
Well, it's cool. That I get it, and I'm not saying people don't want to be
People like to be
validated,
liked.
but you're giving what I'm saying the government. I don't want to get too conspiracy theory here, but what I'm saying is you're giving people access. It's not even the government because anybody can go on your Facebook page and see what you're.
Well,
you know.
dude, they could if the
you're
government
giving them
wants,
all-
if the
dude, what I'm
government
saying
wants
is-
something, they're gonna get it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, it's
But
not
you're
even
willingly
them.
giving it up. They don't have to work as hard.
Exactly
Is what you're saying.
and it's not even a government; it's anybody.
Anybody, but dude,
I
honestly,
can know
I
that
have
you're
nothing
feeling
else-
like shit today, and I can. Oh, well, I know this dude's feeling like shit. I'm gonna pour it on and do this and that, and make you get in your feelings and make decisions that you shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You ain't making me make no decisions.
oh
I
man,
wanna
I'm
make.
using an example, dude.
So-
I'm using an example.
So in 100 years, will we have any expectation of privacy?
There will be. There's not
I don't
zero.
have
There's
any-
zero expectation now. Why
I was
would
gonna
we
say
in
I don't
100
have any
years?
expectation of
We're damn-
privacy
There
now.
are places where I have expectation of privacy.
I
Like
feel
where? Like where? Like let's call it. Like where's your expectation of privacy?
My bedroom.
yeah.
You think that? Do you have a
I have the
smart
expect-
TV? Do you have a smart TV?
No, he's saying expectation.
I have the expectation of privacy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not probably. Okay,
Whether
I
whether,
get you.
whether there's really someone watching me while I'm sleeping and whatever,
Yeah.
then
and whatever.
then
They are.
I don't know, but my expectation
We know what the
is,
whatever is, Kyle. It's all right. No, I get you, but I just feel like as much as you expect that, you're not getting that.
And I'm wondering if in 100 years everyone will just be used to there being
That's
no
what
privacy.
that's what I think that it'll be like. To be
Yeah.
honest.
Like everybody be numb.
What
to
did
it.
you do to us, Jesse? You just sent us on this tangent.
And we haven't
No,
even let
I-
Jesse answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
uh,
her turn. Sorry, Jet. I think we've been
It's-
talking too much. It's your turn. It's
all
your
good.
turn. No,
It's been
your
good
turn.
conversation. It's a lot
How about
of,
just let's cancel this out and fucking move them on because they are stuck in this thing.
We are there.
Okay,
We've
well,
been there for a
I was
while.
about to like loop it back and
Yeah.
kind of give what I was thinking, but you guys
No,
kind
no,
of,
no, no, no.
You guys
give
kind
what
of
you're
said
thinking.
a lot of what
What
where
you were
my
already
head was
thinking?
at. Yeah, because I was thinking of like the Jetsons and Back to the Future and like having the flying cars and the like instant food where
Yeah.
you just put something in and it's
like on
and
Back
then-
to the Future when they make that pizza.
Yeah, exactly. Like ding, it's done.
Yeah.
And like the in-home robots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think of
We're
like
getting there.
Bicentennial Man with
Yeah.
Robin Williams. I
Yeah.
mean,
I
That's
have
a good movie.
I have a-
R.I.P.
That's a good
I have a
R.I.P.
robot that goes around my house and cleans my carpet.
We
I'm just
do,
saying.
and
Like
I know
we're
there's
sort of in that
robots-
life,
it's
and that's what
named,
I'm saying.
It's named Herbie.
I know, but I was thinking
like the
of like
fucking bug.
Yeah, we put the sticker from the bug on this white.
No shit.
Yeah, and so it looks like Herbie.
I used to
Absolutely.
love
Yeah.
that movie, dude.
well, I was thinking of like the personas, like the robot personas, like the Jetsons maid. She's a
Rosie.
robot, Rosie. It's like a persona, right?
With
And
artificial
then-
intelligence. yeah.
Right. And then like the Bicentennial Man with Robin Williams role,
yeah.
also like a persona, and he gets developed over time, but I just hope that it's still in that same like mild mannered perspective.
I feel
You
like
know?
nothing human can be mild mannered.
Well, I
Hoping
mean,
it's like
But I'm
that and
cynical,
not like
so-
not like
Humans
iRobot
create-
where the robots all try to take over.
yeah, I mean, right? Or artificial intelligence, that movie, it's kind of messed up where
Or
they're
Skynet.
yeah. So, I mean, I
Hey.
have the hope that there's still good in people, at
Yeah.
that point. But I
feel
like
there'll
also
always be good or bad in people.
I,
Man.
I agree with that, and that's kind of where I kind of aligned with Kyle with what he was saying too. That the human nature is there is always a good and evil side. Like
Yeah.
people will
Ah.
use technology for good, and people will use technology for evil. That's how it's always been, and it always will be. So I have no doubt in that. But the optimistic side of me hopes that there would be more good, like the good would outweigh the
Good than
evil
evil.
in the
Yeah.
future, just for
I
the
think it'll
sake of
balance out.
hoping for our future generations.
Yeah.
Like I hope that my future family
I
is
think
living in
it'll
a world
balance out.
that is more good than evil.
Yeah, I think
know?
everything's in flows. I feel like we're just right now we're in a flow in the world where it seems like chaotic. I feel like there's been times in the past where people's felt the same way, but we're in a time where we can put shit on social media. We can put, you know what I'm saying? Like the times are different, so we can document things way better than they could back then.
Yeah.
So I feel like there was a point in time where the world felt the same way. You know what I'm saying? Is like, oh, it's dire and this is the end of all time. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like it happened, but it wasn't documented as well now. So
Yeah.
Well, I feel like a lot of the people didn't know what the fuck was going on the other side of the world. Now we all know what's
Oh, yeah,
going
we're
on.
all
that's my
connected.
point. That's my point.
Yeah, we're all connected.
Yeah, we're all more connected. But all it takes is a fucking solar flare, and all that's wiped out.
But
Yeah.
it's always
You
been
know?
like that. It's always been like that. But we didn't know that. 200 years ago, they didn't know it was just a solar
Well, that's
flare
because
away.
we learned through technology.
Exactly. That's my point.
I think that it'll all balance out, and that's what the universe is about: is just balance. Like there's always going to be good, there's always going to be bad, and you're
There's
never going
always
to get
human
you're never
involved.
going to get away from the bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll be bad, sometimes we'll be good,
Yeah.
and there would be good. There would be no good without bad.
That's a piece that I was going to add before we move on to our next question is I think thinking about the future in the next 100 years, I think there's going to be phases that we're going to have to go through. I think there's going to be like war phases, post-apocalyptic phases, technology rage phases, like there's going to be these different, for lack of a better word, phases that we're going to have to go through to, get to that through that 100 years.
And I do think there could be like nuclear war and Fallout, like the Fallout games, like that we play for fun. Like that could be real. Like it's not beyond that, because a lot of the things that we do create in art actually happens. Like it's like a premonition. It's like our
Like The Simpsons.
Just as our subconscious, like creating something and it ends up happening. But
Yeah.
I think that we'll be okay until some cataclysmic event happens.
Yeah.
Like, I don't necessarily think nuclear war will take us out.
Yeah. I don't think so either.
Like, because we got bunkers. All the rich people will survive.
If you think about it, all the tests for nuclear bombs that have happened are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tests have happened, and we're all still here.
No, we just get cancer now.
So if there were nuclear war,
We're still here though.
a whole lot of people would die because they hit the cities. But everyone
Yeah.
who doesn't live in a city
Yeah.
is gonna,
We're,
have to adapt
Kyle,
to the cancer.
we're pretty much like roaches.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like when it comes on like the grand scale of just living beings, we've been here the whole time.
So would you say life finds a way?
Life finds a way.
Life
Yes,
finds a way.
Jeff Goldblum. Exactly.
Jeff Goldblum. Hey, let's go on to the next topic here.
Yeah. So, what kind of futuristic technology do you hope will become a reality in your lifetime?
Yeah, I've got answers for this.
Yeah.
Go ahead, start us off. Give us time
Kyle.
to think.
I am a Trekkie. All right.
Trekkie.
And so there's technology in Star Trek that I'm just like, this is what I want in my life. And there's 3 of them. Number 1, food replicators.
Okay.
That would solve all the hunger problems in the whole world if we just had food replicators.
Yeah.
You can replicate food.
I
Okay.
think we can solve the food problem now. We just don't.
Hey.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
That's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
talking
Okay.
about hypocat.
All right.
Okay, but I agree
Hypothetical,
with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But food replicators, also because I want to eat food that is too expensive for me to buy and make right now, and I would just love to do that. Number 2, transportation technology. When I want to go visit people, like I'm going to go to Maine to visit family in a month, and a 14-hour or 18-hour drive sucks. But if I could I'm just going to get on the
Teleport.
transporter and it's going to break my
Yes.
molecules up and reassemble them over here and I'm there. That'd be great. I
They-
could do that whenever I
They
wanted.
say that exists, but it's been horribly wrong, where like somebody's arm is hanging out their head and shit.
Yeah, they need to work on
Which
that,
I think
okay?
that's all bullshit. I don't think that exists. But
I don't
I-
think
I've
we'd
heard-
be quite there
I've
yet.
actually heard of it as for single like molecules, not for whole people. But
yeah, but they have
Like single cell?
Yeah.
No, they
Yeah.
have like they recently did this. They transported a molecule from one place to
yeah,
another.
I've read about that. I've
Yeah,
read about that.
that actually happened in
Yeah.
science.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like that's real. I
Yeah.
don't know about the whole transporting a whole human, but
Yeah.
So if number 3 is the food replicators and number 2 is the transportation technology, number 1 is the holodeck. You have no.
You have to explain to us
I
non-Trekkies.
just want to hear what you're
that's
going to say.
familiar to me. That is like
I know what you're saying. I just want to hear what you got to
That's
say.
some Star Trek shit.
So
I think.
Star Trekkies, say
Imagine
it.
virtual reality, but instead of you're wearing a visor and playing a game, the whole room turns into a big holographic program,
Oh,
and you're
yeah. Okay.
and you're
You can manipulate.
you
it.
can you create a program, and if you want to go sailing, then you create a holodeck program and you go sailing. If you want to go skydiving, you create a program, you go skydiving. If you want to,
You're
go
bringing
on a-
back memories for me, dude.
go on a date with your fantasy, you create the
can do
holodeck
that, yeah.
program, and you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that anyone would actually, that might be the end of society because no one would ever interact with each other
I think
anymore.
it's already kind of happening, dude.
Or go do things.
I think I think that's the whole point of like where a lot of experts are going is like if we get that intense with virtual reality, no one's ever gonna leave. Like they're gonna
They would always be in virtual reality.
because we can't. Not everybody can live the life they want to live in real life, right? Like there's certain things I want to do that
There's
haven't.
movies and shows about that too.
Yeah, and I haven't been able to accomplish those things. Like I just haven't been able to because of money or certain aspects, right? But if I download this game and I get in this game, I could live the life I want to live.
Yeah, but you're still.
It's gonna be dude. Look,
It
listen.
could be as real as you think it is.
It's gonna be addictive. If you
It's
can live the
addictive,
life you want to live in a
Yeah, but it's
game,
still
you're
not-
gonna do it, bro. You're gonna go work your 9 to 5. You're gonna go home and
I already do
get
it.
on your computer. Exactly,
But
And
it's still not real.
You already do it. And it's not even that intense. Just
I don't
imagine.
think it could ever be that intense.
Oh, it will.
unless
brother,
they like added.
brother. Don't make
Unless
me
they-
Macho Man Randy Savage your ass, brother.
Unless they added like things that changed your brain chemistry, I don't see how that could become like a real thing where
You're
people,
thinking from your mindset. We got to think about the younger generation that's been born into this shit. Like the technology that we're used to, we weren't young. Like it kind of happened. Like I remember in junior high when I got that brick ass fucking cell phone, and I thought it was the coolest shit ever. It cost me 25 cents a minute to talk to anybody, and it cost me like 35 cents to send a text. You know what I'm saying? Like the original shit, right?
It sure
That's
was.
what we're used
I
to.
remember. It just was not junior high, but that's okay. I'm
For
an old
me,
guy.
it was.
To add something to what Branson said, have any of you ever watched the Black Mirror
no.
Yes. I
episodes
have.
on Netflix?
Yes, I have.
So the part that Branson's talking about, there is an episode.
Well, I'm not talking
Where-
about it because I've never seen it.
No,
but-
I'm saying what you're referring to as far as like changing brain chemistry to feel emotion or feel
Yeah,
like
I just feel like that's the only way you
touch
could
or yeah.
trick.
Yeah. So they have a Black Mirror episode like that where it's they're playing a video game, but it puts them in there like they're actually experiencing it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're actually feeling the touch
The
and
endorphins.
and the smells and the whole. It's like a true brain interactive.
And I think that could
Experience.
exist one time, but
Yeah.
I think it's
that
like
just
you
made
said,
me think of that.
1,000 years from now.
And
Yeah.
does
I
it,
think maybe that might be real.
does it end well?
It ends fine, I guess.
I
you
thought
see?
the Black Mirror episodes never ended well. Like it was supposed to be scary.
No, they're not all scary. They're
Really?
just some of them just kind of make you think like, oh, I mean, that seems kind of messed up, but that's probably really how it would play out. Do you
all
agree,
right.
Etch? Like it's kind of like
Yeah.
okay,
That's
kind
sort of
real.
like this holodeck idea,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
know?
feel like that's the whole point of the Black Mirror is to like feel like it portrays things that like you wouldn't think that would happen, but it happens. So it gets like lets you see like how it would happen. But it's like not so far fetched. It's
Yeah.
like you know what I mean. Like it's like in between. Like I don't want
Because
to say it
there's
wouldn't
always-
happen.
There's
It's-
always the human element. in it.
yes.
Well,
there's
yeah.
always.
Well, it's sci-fi, and,
Yeah.
and those things could definitely happen. They could be progressed.
but
on.
well, I think that's the whole point. That's what captures you.
yeah,
Yeah. Well,
To your point about brain chemistry, though, I think everything we do affects our brain chemistry. So
Yeah.
if we had that technology, I think it would absolutely impact everyone's brain chemistry
You think it
over
would?
time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
natural,
I agree.
like natural secretions. You're
Yeah.
saying, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, look, listen,
Thi-
real
thi-
quick.
This, this cell phone I've got affects my brain chemistry.
Yeah,
I can
true.
tell.
Yeah.
True.
And they
So-
kind of allude on that in the Black Mirror episode is they missed that feeling, so they're always going back into the game to
Yeah.
get that
It's like
feeling
addiction
again
and
because it
Yes.
doesn't because it
Yeah.
doesn't feel the same on the outside.
Yep.
And I'll
So,
tell you what,
yeah.
my kids who do not remember a time before cell phones and before having a screen to look at for every little thing, their brain chemistry is messed up.
Yeah.
It's
So-
different. We didn't have that same stuff when we were growing up. So,
I'm glad to live in like the age I did where
Yeah.
I got both.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
how I
same.
am because you feel the positives
Like
and the
it-
negatives of
and
both.
You guys should feel very grateful that you got to experience both because it's magical. And
It is
no
magical.
No one will ever feel the way we have about
No, we're
life.
like the last generation to experience
Yep.
Yeah.
both,
Yep.
right?
We were
I
very
agree.
It's
fortunate,
very unique.
Yep.
very unique.
Very unique.
So to go back to the question, my answer was a part of yours, Kyle.
That's a good answer.
I I thought of teleportation also because, like, just the thought of being able to go wherever, whenever I want, like, is so intriguing to me, and because I want to see everything. Like I'm one one of my Clifton strengths is learner. So I want to learn all the things and experience all the things. And so being able to teleport would like be the highlight of that, to be able to just go and see and do.
Makes total sense.
Yeah. What about you, Branson or Edge? Did you
To be honest, I
did you
was-
forget the question?
No, I was checking on the Domino's order just to make sure Joel got it.
What kind of technology do you hope becomes a reality in your lifetime?
To be honest, I would say something to prolong life because I have
a good one.
like what they call like existential death anxiety. Like just the fear of not being here
Same.
and not having consciousness
I think
Same.
most people
really
do that.
affects me.
Same.
Like a lot of times, like I'm being very honest with the people who are listening right now. It's hard to go to sleep sometimes because I don't know if I'll wake up, and especially dealing with the things that I've done and like dealt with in the past year or two, especially with my grandpa
Sure.
recently, and it's just like it's part of life, but it's just like, man, dude,
Like adds to that fear.
yeah, it's just like you don't know what happens, like, and that's part of it, but. Also, at the same time, we didn't know what happened before we got here. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so like, I guess prolonging life things, which I don't really see that possible, like in my time frame, as far as
I don't know, man.
possibility.
If you think about it, if you look at the last 50 years and how long life has been prolonged on average, what will it be in another 100 years?
But-
We might be living healthy lives at 120.
yeah, but at the same time, I think of like Futurama, and I don't want to fucking be necessarily a brain in a fucking
In a machine that I think that comes later actually.
yeah. But so yeah, I think about shit like that, things to prolong life.
Yeah.
To give me a little bit more time to work on myself, to learn a little bit more about everything.
Yeah.
And do you mean not just
I just
being alive, but also having a high quality of life?
it's more or less not being alive, but just like enjoying life more and becoming comfortable with myself more. Just like
Yeah.
just understanding humanity
Yeah.
more.
For me, it's a feeling of being undone is what brings that fear for
Yeah.
me. Like, if something were to happen, I would probably haunt everyone because I feel like I have so much more I want to
Yeah, I'm
do
very.
and experience and
Yeah.
see. And
I just
know-
felt like I haven't done enough yet, man.
yeah.
And honestly, a lot of people would say that you got a lot left, but you never know, man. So it's just like prolonging life.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Yeah.
Makes
What about
makes
you,
a lot of
Itch?
sense.
Man, I don't know if you guys are ready for what I got to say.
We're ready no matter
We're
what.
buckled in. Let's go.
Honestly, man, I am prepared because I have felt like for a long time, like this ain't our last stop. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I ain't saying I want to die tomorrow or nothing like that. But I also feel like this ain't our last hurrah either. You know, like some people feel like you go in the ground 6 feet under, you're buried, you're done. You go to heaven and hell, whatever, you know, or you're just buried and you're done. I don't believe those things at all.
You think there's more?
I think there's more. I know one thing: energy doesn't dissolve. If you guys studied energy enough to know, and
Sure.
we're all consumed of energy, right?
Matter
So
and
when,
energy.
yeah. So when we die, it ain't gonna just dissolve. That's not how it works.
You think it goes somewhere?
Yeah, we turn into
We
something
go
else no matter
somewhere
what.
for sure. Like and I don't know. I feel like I'm still pretty young, so I feel like I got time to learn. I'm not
we
100.
we all have a lot of time.
Yeah.
Well, I get-
and I know that, but what I'm saying is I have time to learn. I'm not 100% sure where we go, but I know we don't go on the ground and we just dissolve and we become nothing. I know that for a fact.
And that might be the case. But what I care about, which is probably very worldly, is consciousness, man. I want to see the people I loved again. You know what I'm saying? I want to see all
there's
you
nothing
fucking
that says
guys.
you can't. There's nothing that says
There is nothing that says that I can't.
And I've never.
But there is nothing that says that I will. And
There's no
that-
guarantee.
You're right.
There's no guarantee,
You're
and
right.
that's part of life, and that's what makes it beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's what's
Yep,
that
I
is
agree,
what faith
brother.
is about. But that's
agree, brother.
one thing that weighs on my mind is just because I want to see all the fucking people I loved. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think that's the whole point. To
Like,
appreciate the people you grow
if
up
I
with.
fucking died,
man.
I want to see Carol again.
Yeah.
I'd want to see Jesse again. And I'd want to know it was you.
Yeah.
But that might not be the case, and that's something that
Because you
people
could
have.
be in someone else.
But
Someone else, I don't know what happens, man. But that's something you got to become comfortable with.
and that's one of those things that we don't know, but I think I'm a better person for living as if that I do know that is true.
A possibility.
Yeah.
Even I mean,
And
technically, it's a possibility, but I try to live my life
I would agree
believing that it is a fact,
Yep.
right? Because I think that makes me a better person.
Oh, it does for sure.
Because if everything's like
If
Jason
everyone,
was saying, if it's just done, you die and it's
we
annihilation.
would all be pieces of shit.
Then, right? Maybe.
There's-
Yeah.
No,
There's
it's
like no
like,
accountability.
Yeah.
right?
whether you believe
gives
in,
you hope.
whether you believe in Christ or not, it's best to live your life Christ-like because the world would be a better place.
Amen, brother.
Any kind of moral compass, right?
Yeah, I feel like that's the best part.
I
of it.
understand things have happened with churches and people don't like necessarily agree with everything. That's because they weren't living their life Christ-like either.
Yeah.
Church is not the same thing as Jesus Christ. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
or any
Hey,
religion.
that's
gotta
not,
live your life
We
Christ-
agree
that's
real.
not what we're getting into here.
Or Buddha or
right. Or any
Yeah.
any
Like
any
like
any of them, yeah.
Any
Anything.
moral.
any
Yeah.
moral compass is a
Yeah.
good thing for a human being, and that's what I believe.
Agreed. Regardless of what you believe in. Yeah. Etch, did you want to answer the question of what technology you hope becomes a reality in your lifetime?
Well, I feel like I am the kind of guy that wants to live for a long time. I feel like what I got up in this dome needs to keep going on. So if I was somebody that you were to ask that to,
He wants that wheelchair.
no, I want honestly, if
A flying wheelchair, hover around,
Hover. Yeah.
hover
I don't-
chair.
hey,
Dude,
as
Jason
long
is
as-
Professor X, dude.
I am perfect. Honestly, that's what I was gonna say. I'm a dude in a wheelchair. I can't move, but I'm the smartest motherfucker ever.
And you
That's
can
what I
use,
hope
and you
for.
can use your telepathy.
He's
to
like
impact
Richard
other
Nixon
people.
on fucking Futurama.
No, I'm Richard Nixon with ADHD on Futurama.
Oh shit, we're in for some trouble here.
Super ADHD.
And you guys seen my powers earlier. Don't test me.
Okay, so this is kind of a lead into question too. If you could use one piece of futuristic technology today, what would it be and how would you use it? So maybe any of the technologies you guys just mentioned or a different technology, if you could use it today, what would it be and how would you use it?
I don't think we mentioned this, but if we could bring somebody back from the dead,
Oh God.
we didn't bring that up, right?
That's quite the technology.
That
no,
is-
no one mentioned that.
That is like a Fallout situation.
Well, it's a Fallout situation, but I feel like
Scary
there's
movie scenario.
Well, there's always. I mean, I feel like
What if you bring the wrong fucker back from?
nah, man.
I don't-
I'm not talking about negativity here. We're
don't
not
know.
talking about Pet Cemetery and shit when they come back.
I don't know. It could be that you could go down the Fallout path, or we could be looping back around to
Nah, I
the
feel
Jesus
like
Christ
if-
path.
The way she's talking
Are
about,
we
we
getting
have
Jesus
some
or the cat
control.
from Pet Cemetery, man? Are we getting Jesus or the cat from Pet Cemetery? That's what I need to know.
or the dog. That's not what I meant by Pet Cemetery. I'm just saying, man.
Explain then. You want to
There like
you want to
so
bring
I'm a
Gage
big,
back? Okay,
No, look,
we
no,
got
I
it.
He didn't even know what he's doing now.
No, I'm a big history buff, right? I'm a big history buff, so like if I could go back in time and like talk to some people back in history, like that's kind of my thing.
Or
like,
bring him back to life. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, just kind of like, hey, let's have this podcast for an hour long. Let's get frisky or whatever. You know,
Frisky?
whatever. I don't know what they use. I don't know what the lingo they
What
use.
kind of frisky are we talking?
I don't know what the lingo they used back then. Let's go take a shower because we haven't did it in 2 weeks because you know we're dirty. I don't know. I'm just saying. I think that would be really cool. Would be to talk to people in the past, and I don't even care about the future. I don't want to know about the future. I want to know more about the past.
Well, hey, can I go now?
That kind of leads
Because-
into our next question. So table that for a second, would you, Etch? Go ahead, Branson.
I was just gonna say I'm pretty much like I'd want the ability to talk to people who aren't here anymore. You know, like I don't necessarily bring them back, but it would just be awesome if they were on a plane or something like, and there was some sort of technology to talk to people I loved before.
Yeah.
I'd fucking love that.
That'd
man.
be cool too.
Yeah.
Some people think that exists already. There's like this little wooden board that people like to play with.
The Ouija, yeah.
Yeah,
You
that's
fuck
the
with
one.
that, and
Well,
you
let's
tell
not
me how
talk
it
about
ends.
that because that freaks me the hell out. No, thank you.
That's
So-
a night, Saturday night Ouija night.
Kyle,
Scary.
We're gonna call this episode "All Over the Place."
But
far, far away is
Our ADHD.
definitely appropriate.
From one subject to the other.
but Etch, I'm gonna piggyback off of yours.
Okay.
The holodeck that I was talking about before.
Yeah.
The whole idea, part of the idea is you take all the information, all that historical knowledge, and it builds a program that creates the person that you can actually interact with.
Yeah.
And that's what you're talking about, right?
Well, yeah, and I think
It's
they're
not literally
working on
raising
that.
them from the dead, but it's creating a AI, an artificial
Yeah.
intelligence that's the same.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, dude. Look, listen, guys. I'm just telling you right now. The way AI is working, in the next 5 or 6 years, we should be worried. That's all I'm saying.
This is like a perfect lead into the next question. I'm not.
Well,
yeah,
then-
this is great.
Yeah.
So, real quick, my same answer was going to be the teleportation because I feel like it was kind of a similar question to the other one. But if you could upload your consciousness into a computer, would you do it? Why or why not? So that's why I was like, table your thoughts on that for a second because I feel like what Etch and Branson and Kyle too were all kind of saying is that consciousness question, if like your historic figures Etch
Yeah.
or our family members like Branson and any of us that would want to talk to our previous family or someone that we've lost, if their consciousness could have been uploaded somewhere in time, would you still feel like you're able to interact with them that way? And would you? Why or why not?
So circling back to the first
So
question,
who-
in 100 years will AI have consciousness?
So who are
Dude,
you?
it will,
who
dude,
are
it
you
will in
asking
the next
first?
5 years.
Who
5
are-
years.
Who are you asking first?
Well, let
Ask
me
me
give
first.
Etch the thing because he kind of started that
All
thought
right.
process
All
of
right.
bringing someone back, and so that it kind of made me think about that question in relation to what he was saying.
All right.
So, if Etch, you want to answer that, would you upload your own consciousness, and why or why not?
Personally, my own, probably not, because I feel like my own consciousness is destructive. And I feel like I'm serious. To be serious, I feel like over the years I've been able to not make it destructive. But if I was to if you were to upload my consciousness and try to handle what I have to deal with, I don't think everybody would be able to handle the same way as I can, or Branson handles the same shit he does, or you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
we all handle certain things differently. So I feel like if you upload your consciousness, you almost have to deal with what they're dealing with.
But if you think about it from the concept of what you were saying with wanting to talk to historic figures, do you think that any of your family or friends would just want to be able to connect with you on a conscious level?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So, regardless of how, destructive you think you are, there are still people that love you and care about you that would
Yeah.
want to be able to reminisce with you and interact with your consciousness. So, that's the way I think
Okay,
about
yeah.
it.
I get what you're saying, yeah.
But it's your answer to your own to
Yeah.
that question.
No, I get what you're saying,
Not trying
though.
to answer for you, but I'm
No,
just kind
I-
of trying to provide a different perspective.
Yeah. Their perspective is different.
I kind of don't want him to upload his consciousness because I don't feel like getting yelled at.
And I would definitely yell at Branson. Would be one of the first things that would happen.
So what do you think, Branson? Because you were kind of talking about that too, with
Well,
wanting to connect with your family.
That's the thing is, like you've ever seen the movie Transcendence? Have you seen it?
No.
Nobody's seen it. I recommend watching that as far as uploading consciousness because I don't feel like with AI that you can actually know that it's the consciousness that has been uploaded. It might
like
just
how do
be
you guarantee? Like how do you verify?
how do you
it?
guarantee or verify it might be the AI mimicking the consciousness
Yeah.
if it had enough information. So I would not do that because I don't know if it'd be real or not. Like it's no guarantee. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So that's my answer.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Kyle? What do you think? Would you load yours up,
I think.
or do you have any thoughts about someone else having that access?
I think I would not, because I feel like that would give some kind of immortality,
Yeah.
and I think mortality is good. I think if you feel like you can live forever, then it's almost like we were talking about before about having hope to that there's something more later. But I think if you think that you can live forever, that your consciousness will be around forever, then you can start making bad decisions. You can start valuing things in a way that, like all the stories you read about immortals, they start doing crazy ass shit because
Bad things.
there's no consequences because they're going to be alive forever. And this feels a little bit like that. And also, I've seen the Amazon Prime TV show Upload, and there's
I have
also
not watched it.
I haven't
well, it's
either.
basically this question that people's
Really?
consciousness can get uploaded into the web, and they live in the web.
I don't believe that's real though. Like I don't think that's like the soul. Like we say consciousness. I don't think it's the soul. I don't think it's the person.
I would agree
I think
with
it's
that.
just AI mimicking
Well,
it.
that's
Yeah.
different. So an AI mimicking it, which is what I was
I
kind of
think that's
getting
all
at
it'll ever be. I
with
think
with the holodeck thing in the history. That to me, consciousness is an essential part of. It's what makes us different from an animal in a way,
I think
right?
animals have consciousness.
I mean,
man.
they're awake, but they don't have.
Don't your dog miss you? It's
And they have
conscious.
emotions too.
Yes.
They have emotions too, but
I would call that consciousness.
there's a level higher than that though that humans have that other animals don't have, and whatever that is, you can call it a soul or
Yeah.
whatever term you use, but
Yeah.
I don't think that whatever that is, I would not want to upload.
I don't think it
into
would be
something.
possible.
Well,
I think it's unique.
We're imagining.
I think it's unique.
we're imagining a
Yeah,
future
yeah, yeah.
that has unlimited rules, essentially, right?
I just think they would be basically whatever company would do this would be taking advantage upon our emotions because it's impossible to upload such thing.
Just like it's impossible to have a horseless carriage
Yeah.
100 years ago, right? 150,
Okay,
150
all
years
right. I
ago.
see where you're
Cars,
sending me.
cars, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
All right. You ever seen what's that show? Fuck, I can't remember it. It's on Netflix.
well,
Altered
that
Carbon.
narrows it down.
Altered
Oh,
Carbon.
yes.
I have. I saw
So
the first
that,
season. of
that
it, yeah.
kind of
Yeah,
has
they get
the uploaded
regened into new
that
bodies.
has the uploaded consciousness kind
Yeah.
of vibe to it.
Yeah.
Which the first season was awesome, and then it gradually
Yeah,
went
it kinda
down.
went
Oh,
poo-poo.
so it's good
But-
that I didn't
Yeah.
go back after the
No,
first
you should
season?
watch. Yeah, if you watch the first season,
I watched the first
That's where it
season
was.
and-
That was awesome.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, it was in between seasons
Yeah.
and then I never
no,
went
no,
back.
it got worse.
It kind of went lame, yeah. So I was kind of thinking of that too, like consciousness as a upload would be like a mimicked AI kind of thing, and so but I thought of it from like the positive side of it and kind of what I was mentioning with Etch as far as I think it would. I like the idea of my family, like future generations of my family, like after I'm long gone, not like direct, descendants right now,
Mm-hmm.
like my kids or whatever, but
Yeah.
which that would be nice for them too. But I'm just saying, like future generations that wouldn't even have known me.
Like great grandkids.
Yeah. Like I think it would be
It'd be cool.
cool for them to be able to access their historic family,
Yeah, and I
even
think,
if it isn't an AI
yeah, no, I think
format
that's fucking awesome.
of just like interacting with that person. Because I think about like my past family members or people that I've lost. Like if I had that capability to just interact with them, even on an AI level, I feel like that would bring like a feeling of peace, kind of. You know,
dude.
like it's a different level of understanding and.
It totally would.
Yeah, and it would kind of like almost feel like that gap up of that loss for even just a minute.
I had
you
a
know?
breakdown the other night, and I was like talking to my mom, and I was just like, if I ever do have a kid, they're never going to be able to meet my grandpa and like know him, and like if that was a possibility for them just
Yeah.
to understand him and understand where you came from.
Oh yeah, I
Like,
talk
so
to my
the-
kids like that a
like
lot because my grandparents
the
never
AI
knew them
part
either.
of that would be awesome, but
But let me ask you this. Let's say that happened. Like there are things I've learned about my family members after they've died that I wish I never knew. And you might get that part from the AI. Right?
Yep. Exactly.
So you get the AI wouldn't necessarily, maybe it would interact the way that they would have interacted with you from a father-son
Yeah.
perspective, for instance. But I went to my father's memorial and people who'd known him before I was ever born were telling me all sorts of stories. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I never wanted to know that. Right.
Yeah.
But I
And-
feel like that's part of understanding that person though too.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I think it takes a level of understanding and not casting that judgment on that person because they're still human.
Sure.
Even though you're getting it from an AI perspective or a subconsciousness perspective, they were still a human once, and
Yep.
all humans make mistakes, and we all fuck up, and I feel like that just helps you learn more, because I've learned more about like my parents, my dad, my mom, the older I've gotten, talking to them more, and those insights have helped me better understand, even if they were bad or not. They've helped me better understand who my parents are.
Yeah.
And so I think about that from if someone like, because I thought about like my faults, like going in and my mistakes being in a consciousness, like AI consciousness of like, oh gosh, my future generations could like know all the things.
Know everything
Yeah.
about you, right?
And-
like it's
Yeah.
there's a lot of vulnerability there.
There is, but I'm like, I feel like, but I'm kind of an open book kind of person anyway. So I'm not really scared of that. Like,
I'm just saying the people who
I-
are using that technology might get more than they're bargaining for.
well, and
Right.
you could
Yeah.
also put like age restrictions
Yeah.
on like
Yeah.
AI technology that
appropriate,
like, copy of yourself that's
appropriate
appropriate.
content.
Like
Yeah.
once this person reaches this age, they can access this part of grandma, right, great grandma's life, you know, and because there's some things I'm pretty sure I don't want to know about a lot of my family. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm sure there's lots of things none of us want to know, particularly about other people, and there's things that we don't want other people to know. But I like I was telling Kyle, thought about that, and I've just at that point I'm long gone. So what does it matter?
yeah,
It wouldn't
You
matter.
That's what I think about.
It wouldn't matter to you. That's true. I'm
Yeah.
thinking about me alive now using the technology. On
Yeah,
someone
and I'm
else.
thinking of like
Yeah.
future generations. Like, if I'm gone, who cares if they hear all my dirt? You know, like, what am I gonna do at that point? You know, haunt them more? I don't know. But well, I thought this was really great conversation. It's awesome.
All over the place.
Yeah, we
but
kind of meandered everywhere, but it was really good, and I'm glad we got to sit down and do this, and hope you all had a good time too, and we appreciate everybody listening and being with us tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
yep, thank you.
See you next time.
See ya.
Best working friend.